Alright gang, loads of fragrance newness that I'm going to talk to you about today, including a few surprise launches that are either rumor or that are really coming out that I'm going to discuss as well from the house of Dior. But there's loads of new fragrances that are going to drop, and I'm going to touch on them here in this video, including a few fragrances after the outro from one house. So if you're excited about new fragrances and you want to discover some newness that's on the horizon, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Sebastian. We're talking about fragrance newness today. Lots of goodies that are soon to drop. If they haven't dropped already, there's a few that I've gotten my nose on, and I'm going to let you know about them here in this video. But they're brand spanking new, and there's some exciting stuff here on the horizon. So yesterday also, maybe a day or two before this video aired, I did a video on an anticipation video on the new Dominique Ropion Aphorismes collection. There's 6 fragrances in that collection that just dropped. Go catch that video. It's an anticipation video, although I have gotten my nose on every single one of them. But looking forward to get my nose on those again and actually start wearing them. But if you haven't watched that video, go catch that video. But in this video, we're talking about other newness here. But before I get to the fragrances, if you haven't yet purchased your latest ScentClub kits, we have number 11 and number 12. They are currently selling, and I have a link in the info box. We're about to run out, but I haven't been on top of these kits as much as I've been traveling for the launch of 54 and a few other things. So we're putting together the next kits. We have kit number 13 and also a mystery box within the next month. So stay tuned for those. But in the meantime, go catch your kits number 11 and 12. Number 11 features Maître Parfum et Gantier Fresh Passiflore, a wonderful peach fragrance. It also features Roos and Roos's Malamata, which is a green freshie. And then also Wave Child from Room 1015, which is a tropical, fruity watermelon fragrance. That's kit number 11. And then kit number 12, more of an autumn appropriate fragrance. It has Imperial Peacock from Alexander J, which is a vanillic almondy gourmand, super sexy. It has Rogue Perfumery's Mousse Illumine, a green fougere, leaning on the masculine side. And then finally, the third fragrance is Voyage Imaginaire's L'Eau d'Immortelle, which is a ambery, slight gourmand, immortelle focused fragrance. 3 fragrances in each kit, amazing fragrances, my favorite fragrances for you guys to discover. So I have it linked in the info box. Please go catch those kits before we run out permanently. Once we run out, we don't release more of the kits, by the way, because we only receive certain amount of juice for each of the kits, or if it's a mystery box, certain amount of samples. And we don't keep replenishing. So anyway, go catch those before we run out. Now let's get started on the list of new fragrances. First of which, is it a rumor? There's a new, apparently a brand spanking new Dior Homme Parfum, which is titled as Dior Homme Parfum 2024, created by Francis Kurkdjian. Is this true? Is this coming? I've been receiving a lot of messages, and some people are sending me images. So if there's an image here for this fragrance, it's the image I've been sent, because there's not much out there publicized on it. I can't wait to get my nose on what Francis Kurkdjian has done to Dior Homme Parfum, if it's true. Again, Dior Homme Parfum is my favorite designer fragrance as of late, for the last 12 years? No, launched in 2014, so 10 years. And I can't wait to see what they've done with it, if it's true. So that is one that I'm looking forward to. The next one, there is a brand spanking new fragrance from Dior, once again, going into the Dior Privé collection called BOIS Talisman. So I heard about this several months ago, and I feel like it's coming in like at the end of this year, at the very beginning of next year. So that one's on the horizon. I don't have notes breakdown for either of the 2 Dior fragrances. Obviously, we know what Dior Homme Parfum's all about, but Bois Talisman, I don't know anything about it except for the fact that it sounds like it's going to be a woody fragrance since it has the word bois in the name. So let's see what happens with these fragrances. As soon as I get more info, I'll post about them here. Let's move on to the next fragrance. It's from the house of Versace. It's EROS NAJIM. So I shot a video of a review for this fragrance. Stay tuned for that very soon. But I discovered that this was launching while I was in Dubai, and you'll hear the story of how I discovered it. that it was launching. So I was anticipating going back to buy this exclusive fragrance at the airport. It's an exclusive to UAE, the Dubai International Airport. So it features caramel, mandarin orange, oud, cardamom, incense, patchouli, and vetiver. I'll be honest, right now it's not my favorite, but I enjoyed what I smelled up top. So you'll get to hear all the details on this one. I've never been a big fan of Versace's fragrances, so maybe that also has something to do with it. Same thing with EROS. I'm not a big fan of the EROS series of fragrances. But we'll see. Check in tomorrow. Perhaps the video will go up, the full review of EROS NAJIM. Let's move on to the next fragrance. Creed is relaunching Royal Mayfair. So there's a Royal Mayfair 2024. And I was a fan of Royal Mayfair, although I preferred Windsor, which Windsor got redone as Royal Mayfair. I still have a 50 ml bottle of Windsor. Absolutely love Windsor. But this is eucalyptus, bitter orange, cedar, tuberose, jasmine, rose, bergamot, musk, and ambroxan. So now that Kering owns Creed, they bought it for like what, $3 billion? So they're gonna crank out a lot of stuff, it seems like, because they've launched a ton of fragrances already this year, and they're bringing this one back. I'm surprised they're not bringing Windsor back. So it's weird that they're not bringing Windsor back. It's a vaulted fragrance. Maybe they will bring it back as well. But Royal Mayfair does smell like Windsor. They're a bit different. And now we've got a Royal Mayfair 2024. Let's see what it's all about. But speaking of a 2024 fragrance, we've got XERJOFF's Torino 24. This is the 4th in the series. My favorite, I think, is still the first one. They're all really good. I prefer the first one, but we'll see how Torino 24 is. It features notes of mango, bergamot, plums, mandarin, styrax, orange blossom, lotus flower, moss, white musk, and patchouli. So it seems like they've gone into a watery tropical direction with this one, but I like the notes break down the musk, the patchouli, orange blossom, and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see how this one is. If you've gotten your nose on it though, let me know, put a comment down below. If you've gotten your nose on any of the fragrances I'm speaking about today, do let us know, add a comment in the comments section so we can all find out. So we've got another fragrance from the house of KAYALI. It's called Yum Bougie Marshmallow 81, created by Gabriela Chelariu, who does all of or most of the fragrances for KAYALI. Once again, it sounds like a sugary sweet gourmand, which is what they're pretty much known for. They do their gourmands pretty well, sweet, sugary, vanillic gourmands. I haven't gotten my nose on this one. I'm curious. It's whipped cream, marshmallows, musk, sugar, raspberry, strawberries, freesia, apples, vanilla, ambroxan, coconut, and orange blossom. Let's see how it is. I think they do a pretty good job with their fragrances. Some I like more than others, but we'll have to get our nose on this one and see what it's all about. But if you know about it and sampled it, do add a comment and let us know. So the next fragrance from the house of Memo Paris, created by Mylene Alran, is called Abu Dhabi. Interesting also, I got to visit Abu Dhabi for the first time on this last trip to Dubai. Very interesting place. And I'm curious to sample the fragrance. It features dates, and I was able to go to a date market, or date, not farm, but a date market, and got to eat some raw dates and, dried dates as well. So it features dates, cardamom, plums, saffron, and amber. It sounds like a delicious fragrance. I like dates and fragrances, although for me, dates are not very distinct in smell. So there's a slight dry fruitiness about them, and we'll see how it's done. I guess I like dates and fragrances, but they almost kind of fall flat for me. They're not very distinct in smell, so I like something substantial, and dates are definitely not it. So we'll see how this one's done. I'm curious. But moving on to the house of Van Cleef & Arpels, we have a fragrance called Ambre Imperial Le Parfum. So I feel like now Van Cleef & Arpels are doing a lot of parfum editions of their more popular collection extraordinaire fragrances, and this one's a Quinton Biche creation originally, so most likely he's done the parfum edition as well. And it's a good amber, not my all-time favorite amber, but I'm very curious to see what he's done with this. It's amber, leather, and sandalwood for notes. Seems like it's intensified for sure, and we'll see what he's done with it. I'm curious to get my nose on this one. The last parfum I liked from this house was the Moonlight Patchouli. The parfum is really, really great. I just never bought it. I'm looking for a good deal on it. It doesn't seem like it ends up at the discounters, but I like the original Moonlight Patchouli, and I'm curious to get a bottle of Moonlight Patchouli parfum because it is quite expensive. So we have to see what Ambre Imperial Le Parfum is all about, especially since it's a originally created by Quinton Beach. I'm sure he did a great job on this new edition. The next fragrance I'm talking about is from Tom Ford. It's Rose Exposed. Another rose fragrance from Tom Ford. Let's see what this one's all about. They got a lot of rose fragrances, although they did pull the Rose de Russie. I don't know, is this a redo of that fragrance? I'm a little uncertain. We shall see. We can't compare until we get our nose on it. I have a bottle of Rose de Russie, so we shall see how it is. But this has notes of rose water, rose oil, sandalwood, orange blossom, musk, cashmeran, leather, olibanum, pink and black pepper. Who's a fan of Tom Ford and their fragrances? Who's a fan of rose fragrances? Does this one sound great to you? Let us know. Add a comment below. Let's see what we all think about this one. Next fragrance we're talking about from the House of Imaginary Authors. It's called Dipped in Chocolate. It's created by Josh Meyer, a brand owner. So he's the perfumer behind the brand. All of the fragrances are created by Josh Meyer. So this is a follow-up to a whiff of waffle cone. I think it's a collaboration with Salt and Straw. I don't quote me on that one. I might be wrong, but I believe it is. And I did buy a bottle of this, and I've sampled it. It's deliciously chocolatey. And so I'd like to, follow up and do a video on it potentially. It's chocolate, vanilla, waffles, sandalwood, benzoin, and cardamom. Once again, it's a really delicious gourmand. I feel like this might even be more delicious than a whiff of waffle cone. I have to wear it, but I sampled it. It was delicious. It's quite chocolatey. And I had a bit of a challenging time with chocolates in fragrances for a while, especially after I sampled the Chocolate Greedy from Montal. It didn't sit well with me. But I've come to enjoy that one, not love it. But this one smells super delicious, so I'd like to come back to it. The next fragrance is from Voyage Imaginaire. It's called Commandant. So remember I mentioned that we have a fragrance by Voyage Imaginaire in our latest kit. So it's the L'Eau d'Immortelle, but now they have a new one called Commandant. It's created by Isabelle Doyen and Camille Goutal. It's cardamom, coconut, sandalwood, vanilla, vetiver. So it seems like it's going to be a creamy, coconutty, vanillic, woody fragrance. Can't wait to get my nose on it. I do enjoy the fragrances of this house. They're all 100% natural fragrances, if you weren't aware of that, by the way. And they do have a really great collection of fragrance, and I featured the best one in the latest kit. It's called L'Eau d'Immortelle. But moving on to Pierre Guillaume Stelios, is that how you say it? It's another leather fragrance. It's featuring notes of Russian leather, dark woods, cubeb, davana, pepper, violet. I've also gotten my nose on this one. It didn't seem like something truly original, but I have to wear it. I just put my nose on it and sampled it really quickly, so I have to see how it wears. But I really enjoy Pierre Guillaume's creations, and he has some great collection of fragrances, and I'm curious to get my nose on this one again and see what it's all about and how it wears on skin. But moving on to Violet, or Violet Parfums, it's Pour Rêver, a fragrance, a new fragrance created by Nathalie Lorsan, and we've got a nutty gourmand here, and I've gotten my nose on this one as well. It's hazelnuts, marron glacé, which are basically candied chestnuts, mate, cocoa, iris pallida, myrrh, frankincense, vanilla, gaiac wood, and rum. Really delicious on first sniff. I haven't worn it yet. I'm going to have to wear it and see what it's all about. But I love this house. I love some of their fragrances. Nathalie Lorsan does some great work for this house. And this, I believe, is a modern take on a classic fragrance from this house with the same name. I think that's what they've done. I know for a fact that this is a resurrected house, a classic house, and sometimes they reuse the names of their older fragrances. But very modern. This is a very modern fragrance. It doesn't smell classic, even though the name might be recycled, if that makes sense. So really want to circle back to this one and let you guys know more about it. But if you've sampled it, let us know. Add a comment below. So next up, we've got two fragrances from the house of Boho Boko. I got to sample these during TFWA in the south of France in Cannes, as Boho Boko was there inside the conference area. Polish potatoes, very interesting and very earthy fragrance, really different but kind of unusual, like their previous fragrance, Magic Mushrooms. It features notes of amber, benzoin, birch, Polish potatoes, hay, honey, labdanum, oud, patchouli, soil, vanilla, carnation, heliotrope, rose, beetroot, grass, leather, pine, and wheat. Lots going on here. It's very complex, definitely deserves to be worn and tested out, and to really experience how the fragrance wears. And then the next one, which has gone through a name change. It started out or launched as Oriental Saffron. Now they've removed the word Oriental off of there, crossed it out, and it's just called Saffron. So this one actually, between the two, I enjoyed more. But again, I think Polish Potatoes needs to be worn and experienced and gone through the ride because it's complex and very earthy. But the saffron is really great. It's saffron with honey, musk, patchouli, vanilla labdanum, tamboti wood, Thai oud, ylang ylang, aniseed, cardamom, cloves, coriander, cumin, ginger, turmeric. Really great offering. Again, both of them need to be tested, but I feel like that saffron was definitely a winner between the two as far as wearability goes, because Polish Potatoes seems a bit more daring and adventurous rather than like a conventional fragrance to wear. But if you've sampled them, let us know. Put a comment down below. And the next two fragrances, we've got two fragrances from a collaboration between two brands. It's Born to Stand Out and Fugazi. And if you caught my video with June of Born to Stand Out, he already discussed this fragrance. This is Born to Stand Out with Fugazi. So it's basically a Born to Stand Out bottle with Fugazi written on it. And in the video I sampled it, but the more I experience the fragrance, it does remind me like an offspring of Quinton Biche's Ganymede, but it has notes of cumin, frankincense, grapefruit, mandarin orange, milk, gaiac wood, saffron, suede, vetiver, ambroxan, moss, musk, styrax, and vanilla. So it's an interesting collaboration, right? That basically another brand hijacks a brand's bottle, puts their name on it, and releases a fragrance. The collaboration for sure between the two brands that I guess are friendly behind the scenes. So they did this very interesting collaboration. So the first one is a Born to Stand Out bottle with Fugazi written on it, created by Quinton Biche. Remember I said it does remind me of Ganymede. A different take on it, but you'll be reminded of it for sure. And then the next one is the reverse. It's a Fugazi bottle with Born to Stand Out written on it. This fragrance is created by Valerie Garnouche Menzel, and I'm completely unfamiliar with her creations, although I've heard about her as a perfumer but not really experienced her fragrances. And I haven't got my nose on this one. It features notes of cedar, leather, akigala wood, tobacco, amber, pepper, rose, bergamot, and geranium. I feel like both of the fragrances are created by Givaudan perfumers. Quinton Biche for sure is Givaudan, and this perfumer is using akigala wood, and it's a Givaudan proprietary ingredient, so seems like they've gone to Givaudan for both fragrances. Both fragrances sound great. I have to test out this one with the Fugazi bottle with Born to Stand Out written on it, and we shall see how it is. But moving on to three fragrances from the house of Whittian. Are you guys a fan of this house? The Whittian Rose Arabia Ginger, I must say, super delicious. I've got my nose on it. It's created by Hamid Moradi Kashani. It's ginger, bergamot, lemons, paradisone, violets, magnolia, hedione, sandalwood, patchouli. I must say, Hamid Moradi Kashani does some great work, and this ginger rocks. If you like a zingy, spicy, fresh ginger fragrance, get your nose on this one. It's quite nice, and I'm going to circle back to it and potentially do a review on it or speak about it in fragrance videos. The next one I haven't got my nose on, it's Rose Arabia Cotton. This is created by Marie Salamania. So these two fragrances are Firmenich perfumers. It's honey, green tea, jasmine, patchouli, cedar, orange blossom, lemons, heliotrope, cedar, and vanilla. I'd like to circle back and get my nose on this one as well. If you recall, Marie Salamania does all of the fragrances for Atelier d'Azur, but both Hamid Moradi Kashani and Marie Salamania are Firmenich perfumers. And the third fragrance is with a Givaudan perfumer, Jordi Fernandez. Caramel, amber, musk, vanilla, cedarwood, sandalwood, bergamot, cardamom. This one's called Yassat, created by Jordi Fernandez. Sadly, this one didn't excite me, even though it has caramel. It didn't seem like as exciting as the ginger, the Rose Arabia ginger. But I want to test this one out further and see how it is. And I do like Jordi Fernandez's fragrances, but for a fragrance featuring caramel, it seemed a bit boring to me. So I need to test it out and see how it wears on skin. But those are three fragrances created by Whittian. And that is the last fragrance for you guys. Which fragrances are you most excited about? Do let me know. Put a comment down below. What do you guys think about DIOR Homme Parfum 2024? I'm so excited about this one. I can't wait to get my nose on it. I hope it's true. I think it's true because there are photos of it floating around on the internet. So most likely this is definitely coming out. I've been asking around. Nobody knows anything about it. So I hope to get my nose on it very soon, as I can. get my hands on it. Anyway, those are all the fragrances I'm talking about. Let me know your thoughts on these fragrances. Let me know if there's something else out there that you're excited about. Put a comment down below. Otherwise, please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. And last but not least, I did mention there are 3 bonus fragrances I'm going to talk to you about today, and they are from the house of Atelier d'Azur. They have a trio of vintage fragrances that are launching, apparently aged in oak barrels, cognac inspired. I think they're aged for 3 months, and of course they're created by Marie Salamagna of Firmenich. So big fan of this house. The very first fragrance I bought from this house is called Lune Feline. So they have a Lune Feline vintage. That's one of the fragrances. It's cinnamon, vanilla, Peru balsam, Styrax, ambergris, cedar, musk, cardamom, and pink pepper. Let's see what happens with the fragrances, you know, the original compared to this. Keep in mind there's also an extract of Lune Feline as well, so we'll have to compare all 3. And my favorite of the house, Rouge Sarré, gets the vintage treatment. This is dates, cinnamon, plums, Peru balsam, gaiac wood, vanilla, sandalwood, patchouli, heliotrope, and jasmine. Can't wait to get my nose on this one. I really love Rouge Sarré, definitely my favorite from the house. In fact, if you caught a video I did with the owner of Atelier d'Azur on their latest 2 extracts, 2 I should say, not 3. I asked him if there's going to be an extrait of this one. He didn't say anything about it, and he didn't even tell us about this, and now all of a sudden they're launching these vintage fragrances. Last but not least, it's Rose Omeillade Vintage. I like this one. It's not my all-time favorite from this house, but I like it. It's rose, raspberry, sugar, pink pepper, amber, oud, sandalwood, patchouli. Sounds great, right? Let's see exactly what they do with this. This is kind of now becoming a trend. I guess Sense of Wood started the barrel aging thing. Then we've got Amouage doing all that kind of barrel aging thing. And now we've got this brand, Atelier d'Azur. Is this a gimmick? What do you guys think about this? Are there changes with the smells? We're going to have to see. I'm going to have to do a comparison of all 3 because I have all 3 fragrances. And of course, I also have the extract of Lune Feline. We shall see how different they are between one or the other. And then also, do they last longer? I mean, are they going to last longer? Are these eau de parfum or are they extrait de parfum? We shall see. Again, I'd like to get my nose on them. It did say that these are exclusively at Javoy. So they're made for Javoy. So I'm going to have to go there. And the next trip I have is in March, so we shall see how these are, unless I can get my hands on them prior. Anyway, thanks so much for watching today's video, guys. If you haven't bought the kits, please do. It's linked in the info box, and see you guys later. Bye-bye.